one and all to the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast for our review of Wrestlemania Night 1, folks. I am your King of Extreme, Phil KOE, the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes the other podcast cower. Yes, you are getting every sweet, beautiful, soft sounds that are the summer sounds of my voice. Had to make sure that you were not missing out on one beautiful note, folks. This is our review of night 1 of Whoa, WrestleMania. And it's all right. Here we go.
No.
Well, yeah, I know that rap song makes rappers delight sound gangster. I get it. But all right, we move on, folks.
We do.
So, WrestleMania Night 1 let's just say, this is the definition of a one-match card for this particular night. There was a couple of moments that really stood out to me, but let's be frank, we gotta say at the end, Stone Cold, to quote Jim Ross. Okay? All right, we kind of had to get that out of the way.
I know you're excited, but this is Phil KOE.
Yes, I am Phil KOE, the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes the other podcast cower, the prince and potentate of the political parlance, one damn handsome man of Twitch, the lord of the Scottish Highlands, and still the reigning, defending,
for now,
Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast champion, folks.
For now.
Yes. Oh, forever, you mean.
We've got one more night of WrestleMania. Only night 1 is in the books, but I'm sure everybody tuning in right now is curious what the standings are for this strap. And unfortunately for yours truly, I am in a bit of a hole right now. The score is as follows. The champ, Phil, 5.5 points. Chicken, the challenger, also 5.5 points. And yours truly at a paltry 3.5 points. I'm going to have a pretty much perfect night tomorrow to have a chance at winning this. But if there is a tie, and I'm in that tie, I just knocked it out of the park, but we will get to that.
Yes, if you do get to a tie, well done, but it's going to be a tough row to hoe. And yes, time to a 10-man, you philosopher king, Phil KOE, Stone Cold 2024. I think you'd be a pretty good running mate.
What'd you just pour us there, Phil?
I actually poured you the spectacular Glenfiddich Age of Discovery 19-year-old Madeira cask finished. Probably one of the best Scotch whiskeys we've ever had in all God's creation.
One of the best Scotches I've ever had.
Yeah.
Incredible stuff. And honestly, pretty incredible night 1, all things considered.
God. And we've been reviewing a lot of Scotches tonight, and this is still just spectacular.
Oh, that's amazing. So, without further ado.
And that's a fine how do you do?
Those wondering about the New Day match, yeah, so were we. Apparently that's on night 2 now.
Because why not? Because fuck everything.
Yeah, apparently the main event got bumped. They just bumped the New Day to night 2. Whatever, we'll get there. First and foremost, opening the show, none of us were right. We all kind of had our ideas. We thought Raw Women's title might start it off, maybe the Mysterios and Logan Paul in the mid. No, it was perennial curtain jerkers, unfortunately. The Usos defending the SmackDown Tag Team titles against the amazing historical run, the team of Nakamura and Boogers. But
Rick Boogs.
Yeah. What a fucking entrance for Nakamura and Boogs. My God.
It was actually pretty cool. I can see why they had that open Mania now, because it's not like anything else that was happening this night was going to wow the crowd with their openings.
They sure tried the entrances, though. We'll
get
there.
Did they ever.
But yeah, after I saw the entrance, I'm like, oh my God, Boogs and Nakamura might actually win this thing. But no, this was actually a decent enough match. The Usos are always good for a great opener, a great tag match. They're solid. It didn't draw us in like I really wanted to. They needed to get in and out a little quicker than they unfortunately had to make this a really good match. I gave it 2.75. I liked the match, but the Usos did pick up the win in the end.
I think I gave it 2.25.
Yeah, you weren't nearly as blown away.
It was not quite a mid-level match, in my opinion, because it was just, hey, do you see the Usos?
Yeah.
They are, in fact, here. they have the tag team titles. Look at them for a moment. Boy, do you see them? They hit a super kick. Oh, what of a splash. Wasn't that nice?
The unfortunate thing is here that they gave these guys the opening match at WrestleMania, and then they still forced them to do it within a pre-show time limit window. If you would have given these guys a few more minutes to work and really drive home a finish, this could have definitely been a lot better. It's just they had to rush this thing to the end. But Usos retain the titles, so there's no drama heading into the main event tomorrow night amongst the Bloodline. Moving along, I know everybody was stoked about this one.
This was the one we all really paid to see.
God, yeah. Drew McIntyre against Happy Corbin.
I was about to say, not just Baron Corbin.
No.
Happy Corbin.
Happy Corbin.
Happy Corbin Mug Dudley versus
if this went
Drew
any
McIntyre.
Other way than Drew McIntyre winning, then what the fuck was the point of ever pushing Drew McIntyre? Ever. And luckily for Drew, he was not forced to lose to Baron Corbin, Happy Corbin, Sad Corbin, whatever Corbin.
If Baron Corbin would have won this match, Drew, you probably should just ask for your release. But
yeah.
No, it was actually a pretty interesting match.
This was a good match. This was actually a really, really good match. I can't piss and moan about this at all. Honestly, Corbin, like him or not,
I was sports entertained.
You were. He's a solid enough worker, and the guy's going to give you at least a solid opponent every time he's out there. And Drew's still got the support of the crowd, even though he's been burned alive at the stake for the last 2 years, unfortunately. But this thing really picked up towards the end, and Drew McIntyre, the first one to kick out of an end of days. Like that, they've protected that move. They have protected that move.
Kind of shocked that they did that because, now it's just one of those things. Baron should have just kept his mouth shut because it's like he would have rather had nobody win the kick out of the end of days and win a title. So now they're probably going to make him WWE champion in 8 months. And they had Drew kick out Vince will make him champion just to prove that he can do it.
That's fair. No, this was good. This was a decent match.
I
enjoyed it.
3.25 on a 5-star scale.
I did as well. The ending really sold it for me, and Drew McIntyre does know how to drive a match home, and it's always good. And when he does the countdown and hits the Claymore, the crowd's eating out of the palm of his hand, even as bad as he's been booked. So kudos to Drew. You got a WrestleMania win back finally after having a job last year and beat Brock in front of crickets. No,
they didn't allow no crickets in that building.
True, yeah.
They would have killed those crickets if they knew they were there.
Yeah, they would have had to mask up. All right, moving along. We moved on to this thing. Oh, God.
Now, Tony, before you give it too harsh of criticism, keep in mind that Dominic was actually more on point and had less botches in his match than a certain other second-generation star. Hey! But we'll get to that.
I'll give you that. Look, Rey and Dominic Mysterio versus The Miz and Logan Paul. Now, I expected to shit all over this thing, but here's the deal. Rey's a vet, and Miz is a ring general, like it or not. And the heavy lifting was mostly done by The Miz and Rey, as it should have been. Dominic was kept in flourishes. Logan Paul was kept at a very bare minimum to keep him looking strong. But the stuff that he did do, the guy practiced spots. The guy got a few of the basics. He at least looked like he wasn't out of his element completely. He did enough here. I didn't hate this. I didn't hate this match, and it wasn't bad. And by the end of it, it got a little convoluted towards the end, but Dominic almost missed a pin breakup after fucking Logan Paul.
There was no almost.
He missed it.
Rey just had to kick out, and luckily Rey just knows enough to know.
Logan Paul does the Three Amigos, hits an Eddie splash after doing the mocking thing. Dominic misses the pin breakup, but Rey noticed, got it up. Eventually, they get into another pinning position. The Miz dumps Dominic on top of the pin, hit the skull-crushing finale. You get the 1, 2, 3. The Miz and Logan Paul are victorious at WrestleMania, and surprisingly, at the end, during the celebration, he hits a skull-crushing finale on Logan Paul for seemingly no reason. So now, apparently, Logan Paul has taken the role of Pete Rose. Just going to get his ass kicked whenever he's at WrestleMania.
Look for the Miz versus Paul boxing pay-per-view to be dropping before too terribly long.
That's going to be great. Can't wait. I actually didn't hate
I mean,
it.
the Pauls are great sports entertainers as is. So
You gave it 3.25. I gave it 3.
just walking past that one.
Yeah, I'm going to walk right past that one and move along. No, this wasn't bad.
I gave it 3.25 just because, to be frank, hey, I'm a mark for Mysterio. And I was waiting for one of the two Mysterios to turn on each other. Didn't see it.
No, you didn't get that tonight, and I'm glad they didn't, given the placement on the card and given the build. No, I didn't want to see that in this match. Moving right along. This one hurt me. This one hurt me a lot. Bianca Belair takes on the Raw Women's Champ, Becky Lynch. And holy shit, the entrances on this one.
Yeah.
Becky Lynch gets a literal, like a Marvel Cinematic Universe intro, then her entrance, over the top completely. Then Bianca gets a live rendition of some fight songs from, was it Texas Southern University? The band's playing, and then she comes out.
I think Southern Texas University.
Yeah, so
Texas Southern University is a whole different place. And I'm sure I'm not wrong.
So Bianca comes out second. That already spells doom for the champ. This thing, Becky looked, she had that vibe going on that she didn't look like she was going to retain. I was worried out of the gate, and as expected, Bianca did end up getting the victory here. But this one wasn't a bad match by any means. Bianca and Becky finally found their rhythm in this one, because to start their feud off at SummerSlam last year and the way they've moved along doing this, building up to this match, they've been a half a step off most of the time. But I think for the most part, they really kind of clicked here tonight, and there wasn't a lot that was off. One time, Becky almost about dropped herself. Bianca's so fucking strong that
there was a couple of times Becky kind of flubbed some stuff here.
She does tend to miss spots like that, and that's unfortunate. Bianca's big and strong enough that she was able to save this stuff.
That's typically what happens when a 4-horsewoman's got to lose a match.
You're not wrong.
For some reason, there seems to be some fuck ups and flubs there. I don't know how that always seems to happen every single time.
No, they had a lot of really good counters to each other's finishers. The one where she was upside down on Bianca's shoulders and just flailed and grabbed the ring rope. That looked great. Cool. That was beautiful. But yes, Bianca does get the win back. She gets the belt back. She's had 2 big championship WrestleMania wins now. Like, this is what she deserves. She's a major player in the title picture now. Good for her. I'm glad after being buried, they found a way to build her back up. No qualms about that. I really, really did kind of want to see Becky hold on to the belt and drop it next month.
I got to say, Bianca, from champion to champion, I do have to say you're going to do we're getting right into that, actually, little fettuccine.
And welcome to the show.
Yes, welcome, good sir. But yes, I got to say, from champion to champion, you know the pressures. Everybody's gunning for you. But much like me, your King of Extreme, I will persevere, I will push through, and I will retain, because me and that rapscallion ne'er-do-well no-good chicken are currently tied. So he's got to really hope that he can pull out ahead of me on this one. I don't think he can.
And we have Tyler Williams. What's up, Phil? How you doing?
Good. Marvelous. It's WrestleMania night 1, good sir.
And now the time has come. If you give me a moment, Phil. I didn't want to come to you tonight and talk about this. Like, I don't even want to talk about it now, but we've got to talk about it now.
We do.
I'm going to be very frank.
I even poured you another dram for this one. Because, hang on. Seth Rollins' opponent tonight was Cody, the American Nightmare Rhodes, motherfucker. Yes, folks. We got to see the return of not the American Dream, but the American Nightmare. And Cody Rhodes is about to inflict some hard times on WWE, baby. It's going to happen, folks. The grandson of a plumber has made his return to the New York territory.
So Seth Rollins hits the ring wearing this ridiculous bathrobe, rug, thrift store thing. Like, this thing was awful. It was beautiful for Seth, though. gets to the ring.
Oh God, Seth! I gotta give Seth credit on that. Like, he somehow managed to wear the tackiest thing I've ever seen. Like, I could expect like one of those way out there fashion designers from like 1970s.
Yeah.
To think that was something worth wearing, and like,
there's only one thing that's more hideous than that outfit, Phil. You know what that is? It's a neck tattoo. And that's what came out next. Literally, that was the graphic that came up on the screen. They did some fireworks. The legitimate American Nightmare logo comes up. Cody Rhodes' actual AEW music plays.
It was beautiful.
His actual outfit, he looks, everything sounds like, this was Cody AEW Rhodes. Now, I got to go on a record. Look, I said from the get-go that I think that this is a work. And if it's not a work, I don't see this being long-term. Now, you can go back and you can fact-check that. I said that. I'm probably going to end up being wrong on that front, too. But, hey, I've still got a shred of dignity left. And I don't think this is going to be a long-term contract. But good God, why in the blue fuck would Cody Rhodes sign a long-term contract with WWE? Why? Here's the thing. He's got a nice push. He came in. He got a win. And guess what? Yeah, he's going to get a lot of money to be another guy on the roster.
Dolph Ziggler's getting paid $1 million a year to be another guy on the
That's
roster.
True. Little Fettuccine says Jay White or Tama Tonga. I like Jay White myself. And is Brandy going to be a valet for Cody? Yeah, Opal wasn't there tonight. She is.
That's one of the best. Like, there was a KFAB News story where it was Cody Rhodes, formerly Cody Rhodes, now signed to WWE, will be known as Colby Dream Dust. And
with
then
Opal.
Yes, with Opal. And then at the end of the story, it says, update, Colby Dream Dust has been changed to just Colby.
Yeah. So, no, Brandy was not
there. You think they'll do that to him?
No.
Make him drop the Rhodes again?
Drop the Rhodes.
Now you're Cody all over again.
Maybe.
Oh, maybe. Vince would do that just to fuck with him.
Brandy wasn't there tonight, and I don't necessarily expect her to be, especially if this is a short-term deal. If this is a short-term deal, Brandy may never show up. If this is long-term, yeah, he'll probably talk them into hiring her. We will see. Look, I was wrong on the front that I think this is a work, but if it's not a work and this was just a short-term thing and he's going to find a way to get back out of WWE and back into the loving arms of Tony Khan, then really it was an even better situation than a work, because he somehow would have managed to be on the biggest show on the biggest competition and then find his way back really to the house that he built, because that place doesn't exist without him. That's why I thought this thing was a work from the get-go. There's still a chance that this could come out, but I digress. We will see. The match itself, oh my God, we might get a Brandy Cody versus Seth and Becky. God damn it, no.
Little Fettuccine.
No.
Do not give them any ideas, my God.
Oh,
SummerSlam mixed tag match, nobody asked for.
I don't need to see Brandy in the ring. Just outside of it's fine.
Oh, Tony, come on. Remember how, like, basically Ronda Rousey, Brandy Runnels would talk shit to live MMA fighters in their face like she was fucking Terminator.
Another reason I'm sad that they're actually gone right now, because Brandy's segments on AEW were some of the best segments in the world because of how cringeworthy and terrible they were. And what her last appearance on AEW television was basically being called a gutter skank by Dan Lambert. So if they never go back, that's her legacy now.
Yep,
kudos.
That's the last time she was on the...
Fantastic.
Wow.
The match, though. This match was fantastic. And most of it was because of Seth Rollins. I'm going to be frank. Seth Rollins was general here.
There was about 2 minutes where Cody's shit kind of fell apart.
More like 4.
Okay, let's not, like, Tony.
No,
I'm not kidding. Gonna throw facts in my face like so much of a thing?
Yeah, because I had to sober up and eat the facts tonight. So yeah, I am gonna throw the facts. Look, Cody came out on fire. The crowd was way behind Cody.
They were with him till the end
because they expected it, and the payoff was there. They actually got it. Plus, they know who he is and where he's coming from, and they're appreciative of the fact that a guy actually jumped ship the other direction. It's not going to hold. No, they're going to turn on him within months.
Well, no, you and I both saw it.
Yeah.
Cody had his mess-ups. They get in the ring, and then he even messes up a roll-up pin.
Yeah.
At that point, Seth grabs some sort of rest hold, whispers something in his ear,
Settle
and
the
at that
fuck
point,
down, dude.
settle the fuck down. All right, I'm taking over now. Welcome to the big leagues, kid. You haven't been here for 5 years.
Cody was flat for at least 4 minutes. Like, he lost a step and he could not re-find his footing at all. Seth,
I wouldn't quite go that far. After the flubbed roll-up pin, he did really find it again. Then, got to give Seth credit. They do the reverse superplex off the top, and at that point, they got him back.
AJ did it better.
Well, okay, but AJ did everything better. That's not fair, okay?
Right,
it's like, what are you going to tell me? Oh, AJ did a frog splash better? Yeah.
Yes, he did.
He did.
He did.
He really did. Then who? Yes. So, yeah, that's not a fair standard at all.
But it doesn't matter. I'm going to say it. And it was, look, Seth really is the reason that this thing didn't fall completely off the face of the fucking earth. Cody lost a step. Like, he's been off for a while. I'm sure he was probably nervous about this big re-debut emergence. But in the end, Cody did end up hitting, 3 crossroads and then...
He hit 2 crossroads.
Yeah.
Then... Here, Tony, I'll let you hold this for a moment.
Thanks.
Then, boom, 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 boom. Oh, hits the bionic fucking elbow.
And another crossroads.
Yes. And a 1. And now what I would have much preferred is while he was down, elbow drop, 1, 2, 3.
So yeah,
then this would have been a 5-star match.
So Cody hasn't learned much yet, other than he's not going to get away with doing his own bullshit, booking his own matches now.
Oh yes, he will.
Oh no, he won't.
I mean, no. Okay, he won't be able to book his own matches, but he'll be able to get away with all kinds of bullshit. The Cody pass. The Cody pass is going to fucking hold in WWE.
He tried, and guess what? That's when he lost a step, and he almost fucked the entire match up. Seth is there to bring it back, but Cody was successful in this, Phil. He managed to hit his finisher 4 times to have to put Seth Rollins away. So he's already devalued his finisher.
Well, he's still better than Seth Rollins' curb stomp.
Barely.
I mean, he had to hit it like 14 times on a guy that got released.
So is Cody a part-timer? No, I don't believe he will be. I think
he's a full-timer. I bet he's going to be at Raw on Monday.
He's probably going to open Raw on Monday. And if he doesn't, the crowd's probably going to be pissed. So I would expect him to be full-time. And all I have left to double down on at this point is I don't think this is a long-term deal. I'm expecting that this was an agreement that he and Tony Khan came to. Look, I'm going to leave. They'll give me money to come back. I'll do it. And then when I come back to AEW, it will blow AEW the fuck up, because why would he completely abandon the ship that he helped build? He's going to be back in AEW. It's going to happen.
It might take a few years.
I don't know that it'll take that long. Maybe it will, but he will be back in AEW. At least mark those words. I gave this match, believe it or not, 3.75. I would have easily given it a 4, but yeah, there was just that 2/3 part where it just.
I would have given this probably 4.5 stars, but because of the few flubs there, I gave it 4.25. It's still Cody coming back, and I got to give credit because this was truly a rare moment. We got to see Cody actually hit properly the Cody cutter.
He did hit a nice Cody cutter. I will give you that. That was
and
a good
considering
one.
that happens maybe 20% of the time where that actually works.
So, is Cody going to be on Raw or SmackDown? It's got to be Raw.
Yeah, it's going to be Raw.
They
already said he's a new sign. Or no, was that
It was Gable Stevenson.
Yeah.
That one screwed me too. I was hoping that was going to be the opponent. No, he's going to be on Raw because I think they're going to try to keep him as far away from Roman Reigns as they can for as long as they can. Moving along, now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's talk about a absolute disaster of a fucking match. Holy God. This was brutal to watch. I'm sorry when I said I thought this was going to be the best women's match of the weekend.
I really think that would have actually been the most appropriate thing if after Charlotte hit that big boot of all things, which was just literally just hit her with something and go home. I think rather than Charlotte's music playing, it would have just been wah, 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 wah. And that was it. That was all they played. And Charlotte just walked because that sucked.
Charlotte, the SmackDown Women's Champ versus Ronda Rousey. Holy shit.
Boy, I see why they made that Mania main event a three-way.
This should have been the opener. Oh my god! So everybody could have gotten the
This
taste.
should have
of it
been
out
the
of their mouth.
pre-show.
Holy shit! This was bad. Like
No, this
was
should have been.
bad.
This should have been on WrestleMania SmackDown.
This is why that match with Becky turned into a three-way.
Yeah.
This is why. Everybody wondering why? This is why. Because this would have been the same match she would have had to have with Becky one-on-one. That's why they did the triple threat a couple of years ago, because they had to hide how bad Ronda was. And she's not. She was better before she left. She's been gone for 2 years. She's relearning again. This was her 32nd actual match total, and it showed. Like, this was bad. She was flopping all over hell. Could not be in the right spot. One of the most egregious was when Charlotte goes to the top, does the moonsault, lands on her feet, does another moonsault to a splashing position, and Ronda had
nowhere to be seen.
Kind of maneuvered and was just nowhere to be seen. It was brutal. There were so many spots where Ronda was out of place, and Charlotte just didn't know how to get her into a spot to make it work most cases. Like, this was not good. This fell apart badly, but they did try to keep Ronda looking strong by have her get a pinfall victory, but Charlotte had her boot on the ropes, and the ref saw it. She got the armbar on Charlotte, and she tapped out, but right before that, she countered the figure eight and pushed Charlotte rather into the ref and hit a spear because we had to make it over the top. Got the armbar, she taps, but the ref doesn't see it. And finally, Charlotte does get a quick, decisive 1, 2, 3. Holy shit, Charlotte retains. The women's titles, I expected to go the other way. I thought Becky was going to retain. I thought Ronda was going to win the belt.
And I thought this was going to be a good match.
I did too. This was bad. This was really, really bad. Fettuccine says Ronda needs new wrestling. Yeah, this was not good.
And a new set of wrestling moves.
Yeah, she needs to go. Maybe they need to put her on NXT 2.0.
Well, the thing is, like, the judo throws fall flat. Now, granted,
yeah,
Charlotte just so happens to fall in a way where there's no noise made and it looks like a pillow. But yeah, that would involve Charlotte putting somebody else's offense over. So that's
this fell flat. This was very, very disappointing. I'm really sad because I really wanted this to be a good match. I ended up giving it 2.5. Mostly that extra half point was because Charlotte tried to save some of the spots.
I gave it 2 stars, and
that's
I'm being
also fair.
No, I'm still being generous.
That's also fair. Charlotte's title run right now is terrible. I don't know. I'd call it terrible. It's
her last match of her run was terrible.
That's true. It's just they built towards this match. They built towards the Ronda match. So the title run was going to be secondary. It was building to this match. And now that the match itself was bad, yeah, this is going to be kind of a stain on her title runs. But she is still a 13-time champ and will end up being 17 before it's all said and done. Charlotte isn't a good opponent for Ronda. There's not a lot of people that are. There's not a lot of people that are a good opponent for Ronda just because of the way Ronda works. And Charlotte's got a big stature, so that kind of played against Ronda. Not that she can't judo throw her around. It's just that the way that Charlotte works, it does not mesh well with Ronda. Again, that's why they did the triple threat a few years ago.
This is just another instance of, fuck, do we miss Pat Patterson?
Yeah, here. Now.
Need some more?
I'm good at the moment. Let's get into it. Actually, just a second, Phil. I'll be right back.
Yes, but Tony's looking for some sort of prop of some kind. But folks, yes, this particular WrestleMania was a momentous occasion where we saw some things we never thought we would really see. We saw some things that even I didn't think I was going to see tonight. And we had the KO show. The KO show starts, and Kevin Owens comes to the ring. Big reception, big fucking boos. And then out of nowhere, glass breaks.
Oh, hell yeah! Woo! Stone Cold Steve Austin
makes his,
Ah.
like when I say go to my fridge, like, oh God, he's not gonna pour beer all over himself, is he? Okay.
Ah.
All right, good. Even my dog was concerned there. All
Stone
right.
Cold Steve Austin. The glass breaks. He milks the entrance. Then he leaves and comes back on a four-wheeler. It was beautiful.
It was
Rushes the
gorgeous.
ramp, does a couple laps, parks it, gets in the ring, milks it. Kevin Owens immediately jumps into his heel routine, which was just beautiful tonight.
It was.
Perfect. Just going over the top with, look, you don't need to be a stereotypical trash Texan. Look, I'm a nice, upstanding French Canadian. You need to be more like me and not like these pieces of crap out here. It was beautiful.
It was a perfect work.
It was great. Like, he played the heel so well
And then
here.
Stone Cold got so much out of just a death stare.
You forget how good he was just with emoting from his face. And even after being away for 19 years, the guy gets so much out of a death glare. It's unbelievable. And the way he can play a crowd of 75,000 people by doing almost nothing, saying almost nothing, and getting everybody in the arena to respond, it is remarkable. And it reminds you how people can be over to that extent if you book them properly, if your show is worth watching. He gets goaded into an actual match. This isn't a joke. Kevin Owens makes the challenge. Look, Steve, I tricked you. I didn't come out here to have a conversation with you. I came out here for a fight, and I'm challenging you right now to a no-holds-barred match.
And Austin accepted.
He said, get a ref out here, and this happened. A ref comes to
Tony
the ring.
and I look at each other like, I don't believe what I'm fucking seeing.
A ref hits the ring. They ring a bell, and a match breaks out.
Now, I don't know what the ref's name is. I just call him referee Armin Tanner. He's got the big arms and he's tan as a motherfucker. Yeah. So, like Armin Hammer Baking Soda, he's referee Armin Tanner. I don't know what his name is. But
the situation, I think he looked like he was from Jersey Shore. Doesn't matter. This starts out, they start brawling. Austin milks the mud hole stomps.
Oh, I've
my
never
God.
seen.
It was beautiful.
Like, now, what?
It was beautiful.
I commented to you, like, I don't think Austin could have gotten away with a comeback like this 6 years ago and people would have bought it. But now, post-COVID, everyone's just so happy to be out and doing something that, it was just so. Yeah, Mayor of Ohio, I'm with you. I could not believe that we had the great Steve Austin make his way into the fucking arena and then have a goddamn match. Oh, yeah. It like now
really more.
It was also a huge compliment to Kevin Owens.
Indeed.
Because Steve was like, nobody but Kevin Owens could get me through a match like this.
And we really kind of expected it to be the mud hole stomps, a stunner, 1, 2, 3, and that's it. No.
They go into the crowd.
They went into the crowd.
Stone Cold eats a suplex in the fucking floor.
On the concrete.
So when I saw that, I was like, I hope you realize this isn't the last time we're going to see Stone Cold.
No.
I mean, he's like, that's the thing. You can walk away from it, but once the wrestling bug bites you, and it was no holds barred match. I lost my shit. And Tony actually got himself a tiebreaker point off of that. So if we get to a tie, Tony wins the tiebreaker because I said it wasn't going to be a match. Stone Cold was just going to stomp some mud holes, hit a stunner, pour a beer on his head. The music was going to hit. He was going to do the double fingers, and everybody was going to be happy.
No, they fight through the crowd. He eats a suplex on the concrete. They work their way back. Owens gets flipped onto the announce table. Austin gets on him, just hammers the hell out of him. This was beautiful. This was absolutely beautiful. Kevin Owens tries to escape, and he gets on the ATV. But he's a French Canadian, you see, not a Texan. So he couldn't get the ATV started. So Stone Cold comes up from behind, hammers him, gets on the ATV with Kevin Owens, starts it up, and drives him up the ramp.
And I was just like kind of shocked. Wow, Steve Austin found a way to avoid going up and down the ramp twice to KO. He understood. He had to do what he did exactly. He had to sell everything over the top. Because that's the thing, like because my kid, she's getting into plays and like theater, and so I even told her like this is one thing with wrestling. When the baby face is selling, he's got to make it realistic. But when the heel is selling, it's got to be over the top.
It's got to look like torture.
Because now they're getting their comeuppance. There's got to be, and it's going to be like, it's got to be way overacting even.
The crowd got everything out of this because they went from side to
And Kevin
side.
did that so perfectly.
Yeah, they went from side to side on the entrance ramp, and Austin gives Owens a suplex on both sides of the long-ass entrance ramp for all the crowd to see so they can all get in on it. This was beautiful. They find their way back down to the ring. They get in the ring. Austin eats a stunner from Kevin Owens. 1, 2.8, kick out. Beautiful.
Austin was still great at the almost.
Yeah, that was, I did not expect that. That was.
Yeah, when I saw that, like, even I was like, dude, we don't need that. You didn't need to do that, Austin. I think it was just to prove to himself that he could.
And exactly, Nolan. Sign us both.
I know. I mean,
nobody's going to give you a better promo than Phil KOE and Tony fucking G. We're going to give you the truth and nothing but the truth.
I was about to say,
so help us God.
WWE,
that's all
every minute you do not sign us, you are leaving money on the fucking table here, folks.
Not even the Saudis can afford the amount of money that you are costing yourselves by not having us promo your show.
Tony, for once, I could not have said it better myself.
Thank you.
Yes. I mean, goodness.
But yes, he hits the stunner on Stone Cold, as expected, gets a kick out. Austin eventually kick to the gut. Big ass stunner. 1, 2, 3. 19 years to the day. Holy shit. Stone Cold competes last at WrestleMania 19, comes back at WrestleMania 38, a winner. And this was beautiful. Owens eats another stunner, gets pushed out of the ring, and escorted out by the Texas Rangers. It was beautiful.
And then we need what really capped it off. Well, we had to answer the question, who is Byron Saxton?
And tonight he was the guy that sold the stunner the best because he ate a hell of a stunner and sold it like a dead fish, like just flopped up in the air like a fish out of it. Was beautiful. The beer baths galore, the corner, the fingers, the beer drinking. I think he drank about a case of his own beer tonight. It was beautiful.
Yeah, now we got to get ourselves a couple cans of that so we can review it.
KOE would be a perfect manager, Tony a perfect commentator.
Come on. Like, yes. I mean, again, everything you just said is absolutely true.
It's a fact.
Tony would basically be the next JR. I would basically, Paul Heyman, he reminds me a lot of a younger version of myself. The kid's got a lot of potential. But, I mean, he's no Phil KOE.
The bars, it's not fair to make that comparison, Phil.
To Paul.
To Paul, exactly.
I mean, exactly. Yes.
He'll get there. He'll get there.
One of these days. Yeah. One of these days.
But no, this thing went to black, and it was just relishing in Stone Cold Steve Austin, 19 years off, coming back and doing it. Now, granted, I'm sure a lot of people remember, what was it, WrestleMania 33, I think, when they had Austin and Shawn Michaels and Mick Foley come out and beat up the League of Nations for literally no reason after they beat the New Day, I think. It was weird. It wasn't really a match, but they were all wearing their wrestling shit.
And people got beat up.
It was weird, but everybody popped for it anyway. It was WrestleMania, and it was 3 of the greatest stars of the Attitude Era. But this was an actual match. 19 years to the day. I can't believe it, and I'm glad I dusted off my finer dress clothes tonight.
I know.
Celebrate such an occasion. And from the bottom of my heart, as somebody who was just and still is an uber mark for one Stone Cold Steve Austin, this was beautiful. Oh, hell yeah.
Good stuff. Wow. And
that's how it's done.
And unlike Steve Austin, you didn't get any on your shirt.
Again,
that's where most of it goes.
Again, Phil, some things I'm just better at.
Oh, well, like that kid Steve Austin, he's got some potential. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Tons of potential.
I mean, he's no Tony G, but I mean, who'd he ever be?
Right. Well, tonight, Kevin fucking Owens.
And beat him badly.
Now,
Tony,
it was beautiful.
Tony, we both agreed on our particular ratings here. We got some comments here.
Yes, we do. We got a couple of comments. Are the Street Profits turning heels tomorrow night? They've kind of been playing heel this whole build. So if they do, it's not going to be that unexpected. I think that was probably just temporary. I think they're kind of cemented in right now as faces after this match is over. If anything's going to happen weird in that match, expect the breakup of RK Bro. But I think that one's going to be pretty straightforward. I think RK Bro is going to probably open the show with a win.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go back to it. Little Fettuccine did ask, what's next for Kevin Owens? Cody? Honestly,
No.
I would not hate to see that match, but I don't think we'll see it just yet
something.
because what's next for KO? Oh, man. I don't know. What is it? Yeah, you can't. Obviously, you're not going to continue a feud with Stone Cold Steve Austin. So, really, he might get relegated to maybe against like Damian Priest, maybe against like Finn Balor. I think those would be the most likely scenarios.
Bobby Lashley duty.
Oh, yeah. We've got to sit through that match tomorrow. KO needs to put over a young talent like Heyman.
I know.
Exactly.
I know. They're the next one's pretty good too. That one.
This
yes,
one?
Yes. They're bleeding money without having the great King of Extreme. Okay, folks? I gotta agree.
And really hope Kofi's match happens tomorrow and doesn't get cut again. Yeah, that we were like, what the fuck happened? Because we were expecting the New Day and the League of Irishmen.
No, it's the Peaky Blinders.
The Peaky Blinders.
If you've seen the show, the Peaky Blinders, apparently Vince McMahon has 2, and he says, I need 3 Irish thugs on my show too. Yeah. That's.
I would expect that to be the show opener if RK Bros tag title defense is not. Or even worse, New Day gets relegated to the pre-show. I hope not. That would
50-50 chance.
50-50 chance. I would like Kevin Owens' commentate. Yeah, he's amazing when he does commentator work. He's amazing.
If he ever gets too injured to wrestle, I hope that never happens. Yeah, he needs to be a manager. He could be Bobby the Brain Heenan level good.
He just has a charisma about him, and he has such a sharp, quick wit on the mic. In recent memory, the only person I remember getting as much heat as him, well, nobody really. When he and Elias did, I can't remember. I think they were in like Oregon or Washington, if I remember it. And it was a solid 10 minutes of a heat crowd reaction that I have not heard in 20 years. It was amazing. The only crowd reaction I've heard that's even comparable would be that of Brock Lesnar when we were in Houston. That's how hot this crowd was. Kevin Owens just has that presence and that ability to talk a crowd into hating him. So, yeah, he'd be a great commentator, great manager if the day comes that he can no longer compete. And if you've seen a lot of his ladder matches, yeah, spinal stenosis is going to catch up to him one day.
God, I hope not, but, happens.
You hear that Edge might make a stable. I did, and actually that's why I picked the way I did during a prediction show last night. I've got Edge to win because if he's going to make a stable, I think that's going to come tomorrow night, and we're going to see who the first member might be. Who do you think should join it? I would say I could see it. Again, I'm going to go back to these names. Finn Balor, because he's not doing much anything, or Damian Priest, because he kind of fits that mold.
Now, I'm a little busy at the moment, but if he really talks me into it, I could, lend my, incredible promo abilities to this new stable for Edge because he really needs the KOE rub.
Yeah, a new brood, basically. Yeah, it's going to kind of have that same vibe and feel. I don't know if they'll go quite Count Dracula because, Twilight's not as popular as once was, so they don't need to go the vampire route.
They bring Gangrel back to be the master Shifu of this group.
Also, really, really, really bummed that Rick Boogs got injured. Hopefully it doesn't end as... Yeah, again, I think that's why that match ended as abruptly as it did, because it did look like his injury was probably legitimate. So, he's got a very impressive physical stature to him. He's powerful as hell. The gimmick's a little over the top, but people like it, so ride it out. Ride it out until it has to change. I'd love a new brood. I would as well. Nope. Oh, we touched that. And how many skulls be in a stable? Like 4 or 5. Well, if it's Edge, depending on how big of a push that the stable's going to get, 3 would be plenty. 4 would be more than enough. 5, you're getting into overkill. Anything past that,
I'd say keep it 3 so
Yeah.
he can manage them like Fabulous Freebird style.
yeah, there you go. You get any more than 3, and it gets difficult to book them. And at that point, you're basically just finding roles for people you don't know what to do with. Think NWO. Think
I think,
Aces
yeah,
and Eights if you watch TNA.
Damian Priest would be a perfect fit for this.
I think it would, and he's kind of floundered since they gave him that U.S. title push. They didn't know what to do with him then. They still don't know what to do with him.
It's kind of like that's the second slimmest praise in WWE history. Now, the slimmest praise you can receive in WWE history is and new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. It's the slimmest praise you can receive. But
NXT Women's Champions.
Or just the Tag Team Champions.
Edge, Priest, and Rollins. That could work, but like I don't know that.
I don't think Rollins needs it. He's doing fine on his own, being the weirdo.
And it's so strange. It's like every time you see Rollins, you don't know what Rollins you're going to get. There's no consistency there, but he's consistently inconsistent. So I think that's what he's doing now. I don't know that he'll join a stable. I don't know.
Strange, silly person.
Yeah, right now he's doing this strange weirdo gimmick, and it's goofy. So I don't know that they'd serious him up just quite right yet. We're caught up. If anybody has any more questions before we pop this one on the head and call it a night 1 WrestleMania, let me just remind everybody, if you haven't yet.
And I gave this 4.5 stars to Stone Cold.
Oh, yeah, 4.5 stars. Of course. Because of course
yeah, we both flipped out. It was great.
If you're not already, you've got to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because we will be back here tomorrow night after WrestleMania Night 2 to give you the same review, recap, results, and to see who the RWP champion will end up being. But again, you got to hit the bell. You got to hit the notification. You got to hit the subscribe button. We need you. You need us. It's a mutual thing. Be here for us.
It's what Obi-Wan Kenobi calls a symbiotic relationship. But folks,
let us be your symbiote.
Here at the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast, night 1 of WrestleMania is settled, but night 2, we are going to find out, the Universal title, the WWE title, sure, those are important, but we're going to find out who will be the reigning, defending, Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast champion, folks. And will I reign supreme as the emperor of Big Buckin' Empire? If I have more points than Chicken tomorrow night, I am officially the undisputed emperor of Big Buckin' Empire. And if I've got more points than both of them, I retain the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast Championship for the first time in WrestleMania history. So, folks,
I've got an uphill battle. I'm 2 points down, but it is possible. Plus, I've got that tiebreaker. So,
if Tony can tie me, he wins because of the tiebreaker he got tonight, thanks to Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Look, we've got some stuff.
I've got AJ Styles.
We've got some matches coming up tomorrow night that I'm really looking for. I'm loving the Edge AJ match. That's going to be fantastic. We've got the 4 women tag team. Yeah, whatever. It's going to be a disaster.
Yeah, nobody cares about that match.
It's going to be
Tony, you're not on the payroll. You don't have to pretend to care about that match.
I'm just saying. Becky for the best botch. Ooh, I don't know. Ronda tried her heart out. Like, really did. Tried really, really hard. Honestly, Edge is one of the greatest to ever do it. Tomorrow night, Will Samantha. He kind of is. And against an opponent like AJ, this could be a story.
I'm going to say he's the best, one of the best actual factual wrestlers in the game right now that knows all the aspects of it. Because, you got your Stings and your Steve Austins and folks that are kind of part-time in it.
Yeah.
But they're not doing the weekly grind.
No, I'm looking forward to that match. I'm looking forward to the main event, like it or not. Love Lesnar and Reigns. Hate him, doesn't matter. It's going to be a big match. It's going to be an epic finish, like it or not. The RK Bro tag team match is going to be better than it deserves to be. Look, night 2, it's going to have a few more matches than night 1, so settle in for a long one, folks. But it's going to be, I have a feeling it's going to be good. This one was not nearly as bad as it could have been. Night 1 definitely hit a lot harder than I thought it would. So I'm glad for that, and I'm excited for night 2. I'm not exhausted because sometimes these 2-night events, you get burnt out on the first night. You're not looking forward to the second night. And it really takes away.
That happened last year.
It did. It's unfortunate. So I'm not exhausted after this one. I'm ready for more.
Maybe that's why they pulled the New Day off.
Could be. We will see. So, with all that said, excuse me, we do have a comment. Hot take, Edge is in my rut.
Okay, that's
high praise.
That's a hot take. That's a hot
praise.
take. I'll give you that. But well, then T, as I'm known to say around here, all that being said, thank you for joining us here at the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast. Be sure to like, share, subscribe to Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast on YouTube. We're also Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast on Spotify. Be sure to like, share, subscribe to KOE Nation on YouTube, KOE Nation on TikTok, KOE Nation on Twitch, folks, all very on brand. And be sure to check us all out at Big Buckin Empire, like it says in the little down there, Linktree/Big Buckin. For all the links, you can find KOE Nation, Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast, the weekly variety show I do called Big Buckin Empire with this guy and Chicken that I keep talking about every week. You're really missing out if you don't check that one out, folks. But folks, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. I can't wait to find you back here at WrestleMania Night 2, and I hope I find all of you back here happy, healthy, much the wiser. God bless. Travel well. Your champion sends regards. Tony, take it away.
My cup runneth over with wrestling. I got to see Stone Cold Steve Austin have a match. Holy shit. 19 years to the day. It was absolutely fantastic. I'm ready to see WrestleMania 38, Night 2, here tomorrow. And again, like, share, subscribe. Make sure you're back here with us tomorrow. Do not miss it. It's going to be fantastic.
Just smooths itself out.
Back, tell you what I'll do. If I ever get back, I promise to refabricate you. Raging rivers of gold. That's what the brochure advertised. And now we're lost. We gotta take it down. Let you down slow. It's hard to survive.